Well, I'll ask you later. Are they stacking yet, or is it a little early for that?
No, they do. No, they do stack.
Oh, yeah?
Stack. Oh, yeah.
That's really.
Oh, yeah, they stack.
Obviously, I know my kid better than you know my kid. But what should I do with my kid?
I mean, you're dropping pearls of wisdom here, but I think the thing I'm most shocked by.
I'm taking notes right now,
Well, I mean-
like as if I'm not going to listen to it later.
Yeah, I'm a little envious.
What's the age we're looking at for? Sorry, Hayes, I see you ready to jump in.
Let's do everything you want to do.
Perfect, thank you. Let's take a break and.
Okay, so my 11-year-old son is Grant, and for a minute, I thought,
really?
like, this is really creepy that Marty knows my son's name. That's right.
So yours is...
What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to the Bogey Ball Society. How you doing, Matt?
I'm great. I came with props, so I received something from one of our listeners.
At Myrtle Beach when you went on
at Myrtle Beach, and I promised to put this on the air.
for life.
Mr. Jeff Campbell.
At least you got it right and didn't say flurf like you did.
Flurf. Yeah, flurf is wrong. Frolf is right. Anyway, I love it. I will be, at some point, it'll be hanging in the background. If I can convince my wife that it's as cool as the painting that we have, it'll definitely be in the background. We got an episode today. We're just going to get right into it because we don't need to talk about how we're doing. That's so silly.
Yeah. So Matt, myself, and Brian, we got on the horn with Marty Jertson of Ping, the Stack, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and the professional golfer that he is.
Marty is he's one of those guys that I honestly, it was hard to stop talking. Like, I think we honestly could have talked for another hour. This is our very first two-parter, which is pretty exciting. We were hoping for that as an option. It's Father's Day this weekend. He is super involved with his kids. We obviously are super involved with our kids. It felt like a really good option to be able to like talk that side first. And then our next episode, we'll talk all things Stack, all things Ping, all things other things. We'll leave you in a little bit of suspense, but.
Exactly. Bottom line, the premise of this podcast really, right, is, we're busy dads and we're trying to do a good job being a dad, but we're also trying to improve our games. I can't think of a better resource than a guy who is in the golf space, is a professional golfer, and he's raising two junior golfers who, by the way, it sounds like are doing really well at junior golf. So, I mean,
unbelievable. Yeah.
Folks, listen in. There's some nuggets here. Hope you enjoy it.
All right. Enjoy. We'll see you on the other side.
Before we actually get into the meat of the episode, how are the junior tournaments going?
I have an 8-year-old and 11-year-old. My 8-year-old just qualified for Junior Worlds last week.
Oh my gosh!
And so he heard about it. He listened to my podcast, Proving Grounds podcast I did with Sahith Thigala. He won it 4 times. And I asked him about it. He's like, "Oh man, that was so long ago. I was 8 years old when I won it. This, that, and the other." So he won it when he was really young. And so I don't know, something about the name, Junior World, and how many players are there, and they come from all over the world. He was super never seen him so motivated. And
that's great.
And so last week he played his first time playing 18 holes in one day times 2 days, 36 holes for an 8-year-old. It's a lot of golf,
Oh my gosh.
To keep your attention span and energy level and all that stuff. So he got it in the playoff, and he is so stoked. So that's in a month. We got to San Diego.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's amazing. I can't get my 8-year-old to focus past 3 holes without throwing gummy bears at him, and I don't. Wow.
Well, you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm gonna have to go wake my kids up and bring them to the range because they're 8 and 10 for my boys too, and they're getting into golf, but they're barely through 18 holes right now.
No, man, it's all about the motivation. When my 8-year-old, when he doesn't have anything to play for, he's goofing off and
Oh yeah, sure.
putting like Bryson and all this stuff. I just let him do it, man. I want him to have fun, explore. You know what I mean? But he got locked in for the tournament.
There you go.
Brian's gonna be
seriously cool.
screaming at his kids, "Why can't you be more like the Jertsons?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's going good. My 11-year-old's he's doing pretty good too. Working on his swing. Just today he plays golf in the summer. My family stays up in Flagstaff, where it's a lot cooler than Phoenix. And he shot even par for the first time for 9 holes just today. So yeah, no, that was fun
Wow.
too. That was fun too.
I've done that before.
Yeah. I'm this many.
Yeah. I'm almost half 100, so I got that going for me. Holy smokes. How long have they been playing? Like, what's the is it just like they've picked up a club since they were kids? Because I got a 5-year-old who really loves it and has been swinging along with the YouTube, and
Perfect.
he's a little lefty because he mirrors everything.
Mhm.
And but we just started going to like a par 3, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're quite a ways away from like, oh sure, I can competitively play.
I feel like my kids were playing like 1-hole, 3-hole tournaments not that long ago, so they're not that far removed from that. In fact, my 8-year-old qualified for Junior Worlds playing 36 holes, and then played a junior tournament where he only played 6 holes, and it was super short, like a couple days later, so
Wow.
yeah, it goes by really fast. But they've had a club in their hands their whole lives at some point or the other, But yeah.
Man, we're diving right into it. So, Marty, first of all, thanks for joining the Bogey
Oh my
Ball
God.
Society. It took a while to get you on board, and but we're having the conversation that I really wanted to have out the gate. You are, and by the way, these other guys, Matt, Brian, Hayes, we're all here. But let's get back to Marty Jertson. So, Marty, you are the vice president of fitting and performance at Ping. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're also an entrepreneur and a co-founder of the Stack system.
Yeah.
You are yourself a professional golfer, and you're a dad to, it sounds like, 2 already pretty accomplished junior golfers. And that's a conversation that I wanted to jump into. We've been trying to get you on for about a month's time, but you've been at junior golf tournaments on the weekends. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
What you've already described to us, how did this happen? Like, did the kids just see Dad and I want to be a golfer too, Dad? Did you have to any pressure or hey, try this, or did it just kind of naturally happen?
I think they had some of that pressure, and so my wife's a golfer too, and she wants nothing more for them to like be turned into full-time golfers or whatever and do it.
Yeah.
But we've been very conscious about not putting any pressure on them, keeping it fun, and they're really into basketball as their number one sport. So we support them 1,000% on basketball. We make sure we make that always the priority. Scheduling conflicts, we go basketball if they want to, right? And so yeah, that's the big thing. That's the big approach that we've taken. But at some point, this is what happened to me when I was a kid. I kind of tapped out of basketball and I tapped out of baseball. I was like, okay, I'm going full time on golf. So our strategy's been, hey, let's keep it fun, keep them in the mix enough. They're not hardcore junior golfers like all the other, like the handful in Arizona that are just all in, doing everything, homeschool, doing all that. They're not there by any means, but they're having fun playing golf. And we kind of do it seasonal also. So like summertime, they take a break from basketball, and it's almost like it's almost like in the Northeast or something, right? It's almost like the Canadian approach. Like they play tons of golf in the summer, and then they kind of fit it in where it fits in the rest of the year. That's what's working for us, And I think at some point, maybe when my kiddos it's either up to them or maybe when they're 13, 14, 15, maybe the opportunity will be there they got the foundation to go all in if they want to. That's kind of our general approach.
Okay. Yeah. But, so my oldest son is 11 years old, loves football, loves basketball, is turning out to plays a little golf with me, but he's turning out to be a really good baseball player. It's amazing for me watching other parents with their 11-year-old baseball player, how much temptation there is to start specializing
Yeah.
really, really
Totally.
early. Like there's
Yes.
travel baseball programs that I steered them away from because in like their offer sheet and their application form, they wanted to hear a commitment to baseball only at like 10 years old. Are you seeing that in junior golf too?
Yes. Yeah. It's not a ton of kids. And, I'm kind of just viewing Arizona golf in my little world here a little bit, which I grew up playing the same tournaments. My kiddo, the 8-year-old, played in the junior world qualifier, was the tournament I literally played in, whatever, 35 years ago or whatever it is now. So it's really fun. But yes, we are seeing that specialization in golf, in these other sports. And, my wife and I talk about it a lot. Don't kind of succumb to that pressure, but if our kids want to do it, we'll support it. If they want to, but they haven't wanted to. We haven't tried to curate that, for any sport, up to this point yet,
Well, I mean, to me, it just strikes me as a mistake because, I mean, you want to build just overall athleticism first, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the funnest things my youngest one did, he doesn't do it anymore, but really helped him out, was he did track and field. We were watching the Olympics, I think, during COVID or right after COVID or whatever. And he's like, he got really into watching track and field. And we found a little track and field squad down the street, and he learned the proper sprinting mechanics and running and training and warm up and how methodical the training is. And even though he doesn't do it now, like I look at him sprint when he plays basketball, and his technique is way better than everybody. And I guarantee that wouldn't have been that way if he didn't just do a little track and field and get really good mechanics.
Sure.
Skill
That
transfer.
sprinting stuff's supposed to be good for your explosive power too.
100%, man. Yes.
Yeah. We've had some other guests on who've talked about power.
Yeah.
Power.
Well, I'll ask you later, are they stacking yet, or is it a little early for that?
No, they do. No, they do stack. They do stack.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They stack. They're really into the wedges. The West stack wedges, our new wedge thing. They absolutely love that. But yes. And then my youngest one, we have a stack baseball bat too, and he was doing a little stack baseball training as well. So yeah, no, they're all about the R&D and enjoying the product.
Yeah, my 11-year-old's he doesn't know it yet. He's going to be doing stack baseball this offseason. So
oh yeah,
so I'm getting it for Jackson too. But they love doing, or I'd say doing the stack. They like to try to swing as fast as they can while I'm doing a stack session. But they love having the radar and trying to beat the number. So it's fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
And they're always, you have this natural increase with your age and your strength and your development and size. So it's like it's super motivating to set those records. Easier for them to set records than for us.
Now you've described some pretty impressive accomplishments at some kind of early stages of their forays into junior golf. Is Dad the swing coach? Is Dad teaching them, or how is that going?
Yeah. Right now I am for about the last year or so. And it's very challenging. I found this to be like a big time challenge because there's a lot of psychology to it. For a long time, as I bring both to the range at the same time, and that doesn't work if I'm doing like a official lesson. So what I've adopted is they've been to some great junior coaches who really helped them kind of get some fundamentals down. Some grip stuff, some wrist hinging stuff, some feels, some swing thoughts, and all that, little routines. And so I'm trying to build on that. And they're both very different. They swing the club totally differently. They have totally different like learning styles, right? And so I'm like not a golf coach. Like I don't give lessons. I take lessons. I don't give lessons. I'm like a very non-traditional golf pro. I've taken a gazillion lessons, but this is I've challenged myself to try to be good at coaching them. So I come into it just like a really good coach. Like I have a lesson plan. Like before I take them to the range, and I schedule it because I don't like them on the range doing mechanics and stuff for that long. I want them playing, play. And but if their swing needs work, you got to do a little work. And so that's what I try to tell them. And so we do short focused lessons, and I come in with a plan, so I do a lot of research. Sometimes I'll send their swings to some other coaches that I have on speed dial. Hey, and use them as a surrogate. Hey, what should I tell them? What drill should I give them? So, I put a lot of thought into it. But so for the last year and a half, I've officially kind of been their coach, which has been super fun. But I will relinquish that for sure at some point if I need to get some help on that front.
So that's awesome. I'm thinking specifically about my 5-year-old. I have a 9-year-old daughter who would not care less about golf. It's fantastic. I heard her under her breath when we got in the car and I turned on the radio, and she whispered to herself, "Please don't be golf. Please don't be golf. Please don't be golf." Because I might be listening to a lot of serious PGA.
Not a fan of the pod. She's not.
Not yet.
She likes Uncle Hayes.
She wants to be on camera. She wants to be on camera. She doesn't want to be watching.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a big believer. My mom ran a daycare for years that play is the best education the kid can get. With my 5-year-old, I've been trying my best to gamify everything. When we go to the putting green, he just this year was allowed to go to our little course that's near us, where incidentally Max Homa learned to play the little par 3 course. And my favorite story about that is that when he talked about what his summers were, he said, "My parents would drop me off in the morning and pick me up at night."
Yeah.
That was his daycare.
Was
just like
go
play the part, because you pay once, you can play all day. There's no they don't recharge you, so you pay once, and then he would just hang out, get a hot dog, whatever. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But this is the first year where he's been able to come with me to the range. Even we could chip and putt. That was fine, but they had a rule about nobody under 5, and I'm sure there was some incident or something. But it's hard because he wants to hit the balls as fast as he can, and then he just wants to go play. And I'm like, let's just go play. Let's ignore. You're 5. You're not gonna grind it out, hitting 130 balls. You're not gonna get any better. And our first time out, we played 9, and he asked, "Can we play 12?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can." It was such a great moment. But he got through 11 and sat down on the green and was mad because he had missed a putt. And that was we were done, and it was awesome. Is there a thing that you have done with your kids to keep it fun? How do you know when to? Because my thing is I want to stop before it stops being fun.
Totally, yes.
But it's such a fine line between obviously I know my kid better than you know my kid. But what should I do with my kid?
Yeah.
Because I want him to love it. I really want him to love the game, because having a built-in golf buddy is like a dream. So that's really,
right?
I mean, it's why I've been playing golf on YouTube since he was born. I'm like, hey bud,
I go in the brain, man. It's a razor's edge of you want, and when they're that young, 5, obviously it's a different threshold than when they're 8, 10, 12.
Sure.
Right? Because it's you want them to have a little frustration. It's I just love thinking about golf as it's like a practice round for life, you do everything good.
Absolutely.
And you get unlucky, you get the bad break, and you don't succeed, but you did your preparation right. It's okay, you ended up in a divot. Okay, so that happens. You got a bad break, got a bad bounce, you lipped out, whatever, man. That's life. So you want that. You want that failure, you want that friction, but when the younger ages, you gotta snip it a little earlier than at the older ages. So I feel like that's what we're constantly trying to figure out, where that line is. But some things to keep it fun, especially if you got another kiddo that could go out there, man, have them scramble against you or something, right?
Yeah. That's great.
I love doing that. When I play a lot of times. Well, I do this with my coworkers at Panek. Well, they will play a 4 ball, and 3 of them will play a best ball against me. It's great practice for me, because I need to do some serious, don't make a bogey. You know what I mean? But if you do that with the kiddos, have them scramble when they hit a bad shot, take the de-risk it. It's almost like the junior league type approach where they play a little bit of scramble. Now I think that's super fun, And then on the range,
that's a great idea.
on the range, like I would try to just do a lot of fun things. I get all these ideas from, teachers or whoever, good golf coaches on Instagram, what have you. But I'll bring a baseball glove to the range and I'll go out there. We go out there late at night, no one's around, and I'll have them chip and I'll catch it. You know what I mean? Go a little further, catch it.
That's
Go a little
great.
further, catch
That's
it.
great.
It just keeps it fun, man. Danger for dad, but what are you gonna do? Just a
Only if they
lot of
skull
little
it.
stuff
It's
like
fine.
that.
Yeah.
I teach them little trick shots. That little trick shot where you can put one ball on top of the other, hit it, and the top ball goes flying up in the air, and they can catch it. So then
I've seen it. I've never tried it, Marty.
my kids are dominant at that little trick shot. And then if they're ever out on the range with their buddies, they're gonna watch this. They have tons of fun. So I like doing stuff. Awesome. I like doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great.
So when
I love that.
When you are trying to teach them the swing, then it sounds like almost like there's kind of like an Adam Young teach them tasks influence in what you're saying, or are you teaching them positions and technique, or is it kind of a balance between the two? You know what I mean? Are you telling your son, hey, buddy, your wrist has to get into extension here?
P3.
Right.
That's where my two kiddos are very different. Like my younger kiddo, he'll go from like hitting slap weak slices to hooky draws that are low, and I'm constantly titrating him from aim right and draw it to aim left to cut it, aim right to draw it, aim left to cut it, and then trying to let him figure it out on his own to how to manage the rudder. You know what I mean? So that's like pretty much all I do with him because his low point is very consistent. He kind of grew up with a split grip, which if any of your kids have a split grip at a young age, now if your 5-year-old has a little split grip, let them keep it because their wrists aren't strong enough. Their wrists are not strong enough to hinge the club at a very young age. So when they're super young, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, if they'll naturally split grip it, don't stop it. He barely started putting his hands together, as they get a little bit stronger. Cool. That's a big piece of advice, I think, for the super young kids. You know what I mean? Because you might take them to a teacher.
I should try that.
But your kids, I see a lot of my kids will go to a junior camp and he's real young, and the coach is just like, that doesn't look right, and so they try to get your hands all close together. I'm like, dude, that's not gonna work. Their wrists aren't strong enough at that young age.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I think those are some pieces to kind of. But my other one on the question of how I teach them, tons of external stuff, alignment sticks. If he's hitting it right and drawing it, I put a stick out there or a pool noodle to hit it left and cut it around it. Just tons of external, like the Andrew Rice thing where you take an empty. My other one will get too far down on his driver, launch it low, and so I'll just put a empty sleeve of balls, a little bit out in front of the tee where he's teeing it up, and have him swing up on it and miss that little empty sleeve of balls, right? So all that little external stuff, whether it's they're coming over the top, put a head cover there, all that type of external stuff, I think it has been good for my kids at least. I mean, that's kind of been my experience.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, you're dropping pearls of wisdom here, but I think the thing I'm most shocked by,
I'm taking notes right now, as if I'm not going to listen to it later.
I'm a little envious. So I have an 11-year-old baseball player who's doing well, but at age, I don't know, 10, he started deciding he's arriving at that age where dad doesn't know anything, right? And like about a month ago in baseball, and he was doing batting practice, and he was kind of dumping the barrel behind him, which is not a positive thing to do. And I told him, buddy, you got to get your hands up, and you can't, kind of told him. And he looked at me, said, Dad, rolled his eyes, and walked on to the next station of his hitting practice. I shared with his baseball coach the observation, and I was with an earshot when his coach went down to him, told him the same thing I said. He's like, "Oh, okay, coach. Like, you're not running into that yet?"
Yeah. No, I do run into that, and it is tricky. I think one thing I try to do with my kids is I will, like, on the course, let's say he's stressed out, not hitting a couple good shots, and he's hooking it. This happened the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's my little quick fix for this? Maybe I'll have him increase his grip pressure in his top few fingers or something, right? Just one little Band-Aid thing you can kind of do out on the course, right? Or maybe a little Bryce with the left elbow into position 3 pointed down the line, right? But I'll go over and kind of just whisper it to him, you know, and hey, and so I try to get the delivery to be a little bit soft. But sometimes, days, man, I've run into those days where I ain't having it, a little stubborn. My 11-year-old's kind of getting there. I'm just like, well, let it go. It's one of those days you're gonna have to learn how to deal with the failures.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I coach my boys in baseball, and there's points in the game or in the season where we'll be like, one of the other coaches is going out. I can't talk to my kid right now. He's not going to listen to me. So just send somebody else out there. I did. I gave myself a thumbs up there.
Right. It was a great comment.
Yeah, Brian. I mean, it's not, you can't win every day, man. Yeah.
No.
I think this just means you're a better parent overall than we are, that your kid's still listening at this age.
I don't know. Or it's just, man, I feel like I'm always just walking on that razor's edge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And the delivery is very important. And then both my kids are so different that I have to communicate with them differently, so I'm glad I'm not a full-time golf coach, because you would have to do that with every single student that walked up. I have a lot of respect for coaches. This is their full-time deal.
It's an incredible skill to be able to earn a kid's trust and then impart any kind of actual instruction that they follow. It's pretty incredible. What about putting? Like, how do you tackle putting? Is that something that you started early and then now that's just built into? Well, I just think it's a fascinating.
No, my mind immediately went to Sasha must be telling you they got to put heads up. They got to put heads up.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, but I do wonder about that. Like because I want to ask them. I want to ask also like what clubs you've got them in. I'm assuming Ping's, but also I don't even know.
Get a discount. Yeah,
I don't even know if Ping makes junior clubs. So I think they do, but I really don't know. So it's sort of a two-parter, but putting to me is the thing that changed my game from being very bad to only mostly bad. And it was a really big, swing to go like, oh, I like putting now. And so I always feel like if I can get my butt, because I've got a couple little putting mats. When I bring them out, it's like game time. Like it's the best, we play all different kinds of games. So do you have, do you live on a course? Like, do you kids, is it just something that's like part of the like, oh, I'm just going to go putt for a few minutes? Or do you have regimented putting? Like, is it a thing where I know that, you're trying to keep it light and keep it lighthearted, but
stack putting.
Yeah, a lot.
Stack putting.
Yeah, they do stack putting. It's super fun. Gamifies it.
That gamification is so good.
Yeah. A lot of family putting contests. Man. Just playing 9 holes, just standard straight up. And, felt like not that long ago, I was giving them a shot a hole, and now we're playing straight up and play, just 9 holes, just go.
Wow.
And they're putting pretty good. So my approach on putting is if they're putting good, if their results are good, I don't mess with it. They could be aiming way right, pulling it. They could be doing whatever. Obviously, you guys know you've had some great guests on. You guys yourself being golfers, like green reading is such an important part of putting that I think I'm not teaching them aim point. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I just want them to watch the ball roll. Like when I became a really good green reader was when I was a caddy in college. I didn't even hit a putt. Okay. I just watched balls roll. I read putts. Then I paid attention to them because I was the caddy.
Yeah.
And so I was just playing that movie in my head of how these things broke and how to marry line and speed and that creativity. Now I layer on the modern day science and the slope and the aim point and all that. But I think that aim point is just kind of that supplement to get you to kind of delay your intuition. And it's just a marriage of both, So I'm still a big believer that you want to use your intuition, which is your innate feels. I feel like that's how Tiger made all those big putts. You know what I mean? So with my kids, if their results are good, I don't work on their stroke. But as soon as their strokes get really bad, as soon as they get bad, I do block practice with them. And this is what has worked for me. I'll have them hit like 3 or 4 footers. I will kneel down on the ground. This is like, I don't know, Ted Scott with Bubba back in 10 years ago or something. They'll hit one ball into the hole. I pick it up, put it right back down on a chalk line, and I really have them focus on their tempo, and I have them recoil, both of them. So I have them hit the putt and recoil the putter back to where it started. And this has been super duper helpful because I see so many of the juniors hit the putt over accelerate. The putter raises, it's like a wand. They're just waving it all up in the air. And so it really helps them. Their grip pressure has been too light. I feel like they're like too like wobbly and loose. You know what I mean? Stan Utley, I just did an event with him, and he held Tiger Woods' putter after he did his drill of like making 100 4 footers in a row with his tee and all that stuff. Was trail hand only, and he held this putter, and the grip was like hot, almost on fire, because Tiger was squeezing that thing so freaking hard. You know what I mean? So everyone thinks you got to hold the putter all loose. My kids get too loose, and their strokes get too long. So I have them recoil, and then I'll get 2 alignment sticks, and I'll have them bang one on the backstroke, and then the alignment stick I hold on the forward stroke is a lot closer, and I have them bang into it, and then boom, go right back to the starting position, and their stroke gets super efficient. I always love like Tiger's stroke in his prime, like minimum movement for maximum velocity. And I'm like, I want my kids' strokes to be like that, like super tight, a lot of recoil. So when they putt, they go, whoop, and that keeps their pressure up, their pressure up in their fingers. So that's kind of my general. And then whatever, if they want to play around with different grips and whatever, I let them explore, man. Do you want to do crosshand? Do you want to do claw? You want to do whatever? Like, I just think it's good for their exploration, skill development.
Do you have them in like a blade or a mallet or a tine or whatever the other many infinite choices Ping offers?
Yeah, so I actually worked on our Prodigy product at Ping, but both of them, like the strategy, and our first generation Prodigy, which the name's kind of cool. It's like Prodigy, like our G440 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we chose in the original Prodigy, instead of to go with the answer putter, we went with the putter we had just designed. My colleague at Ping, Corey Bacon, designed, called the Voss. And the Voss is like an answer, but the cavity is ball width. So the reason why we did that, it's like it like helps your brain. It's like hitting a blade. Like you have a super small cavity, very small putter, and the putters all of our junior putters we made with some toe down to them, because you actually want the kiddos to learn the feeling of rotating the face. You want the torque. I know that's a hot topic in the industry. I love torque. I want the kids to pour out the torque, and that torque is really good because when you close your eyes and take the putter back and move it, you want that offset of center of gravity from where the shaft is. That helps your brain figure out where the face is. Like if you don't have torque, and you close your eyes and you waggle a putter, your brain you turn the sense of proprioception through your hands off. So you don't want that. You want to ramp it up. So a lot of the heel shafted mallets are maximum torque that a lot of the players like Scheffler's using and stuff like that. So they all have some toe down to them. So one of my kids is in the Voss, which we had in the original one, and then we added the tine into our latest Prodigy set. So my 8-year-old used the tine, my other one used the Voss. So blades. The time's like a blade mid mallet, a blade with a few things. CG still forward, still has toe hang to it. Just helps them aim a little bit easier. And so they're in those 2 putters.
I've never felt a softer putter than the Tine 4. I must have hit that 600 different putts at Dick's over the course of 3 months when I was looking for a putter, and I don't know why I didn't buy it. I just kept being like, well, let me just test it. And every time I came back to it, it had that little insert. I don't know what the insert was, but it's the softest thing. And I love a soft putter, but it's still like, if I ever see that at like a tag sale or something, it's in my garage. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's great putter.
That's great. That's super helpful.
Like the alignment, kind of the alignment of the mid mallet, but the center of gravity is still forward, and there's a lot of benefits to that. So you get the little toe down, you can feel the face rotation, but the CG's still forward like play.
What's the age we're looking at for? Sorry, Hayes, I see you ready to jump in.
Let's do everything you want to do.
Perfect, thank you. Let's take a break and well, because I know that with my 5-year-old, his hand-eye coordination is genuinely great. Like he can throw a spiral with a football. He can throw it's kind of bonkers to me because I was an okay athlete as a kid, but he is next level for a 5-year-old anyway. But putting is really hard.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to. Sometimes he leaves it short on a 3-foot putt, and sometimes he hammers it 18 feet past, and he can't quite grasp the thing. And I know that's just practice, or at least I'm assuming that's just practice.
Is it practice, or is it just motor learning of a 5-year-old? I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is that like so some of it's just he's 5.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times where his body doesn't do what he's expecting it to do.
Exactly.
And so I'm wondering if that recoil drill, that sounds really cool. Like I'm wondering if that's something like, oh, hey, just let's take a short and see if we can get it. Like, what does that feel like for consistency?
You can try it. The other thing that's fun with the kids is play around with the metronome. You know what I mean? Just put a metronome app on your phone.
Yep.
Get them into a little block practice station. I'm for both block and random. I'm really big into block for kind of getting all your alignments, some stroke stuff, and then go do your random with stack putting or play game or what, play against your buddy, whatever. But yeah, so play around with tempo and just explore it with them. And just what you're trying to do, I think the goal with the kids is you're giving them permission to explore. And then they'll maybe they and you will figure out what is a good tempo rhythm, what is a good stroke length for them. You know what I mean? But explore it with them. Do some like spectrum, do some super fast, and then do some long and slow, and see what resonates better.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do with your 5-year-old, man, is have them roll the ball. Just roll putt.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's just kind
of get used to what that.
Yeah. And then you got to get, it's just kind of fun. They just kind of get the feel for the speed and the line and the break and the green reading, and it's just kind of fun too.
I mean, I'm an adult, but that's how I got better at chipping, was coming off the green and just thinking, how would I roll? Where would I land this to roll this to near the hole? Yeah. And it completely changed, because I was trying to fly everything there with spin. I wasn't getting any spin. Like, this isn't working.
Well, Marty, you're giving us a lot of recommended go-tos. I mean, this is awesome stuff. I got to ask, in as much time as you're clearly spending at these junior tournaments, are you seeing a lot of things that, man, that's a bad idea? Like, are there some what not to do's you can share? I mean, we've already talked specialization.
Man, it drives me a little nuts when the parents are a little too into, setting up the kid. I mean, my kids are still in tournaments where there's still caddies allowed. And my 11-year-old, some of them, he's graduating out pretty soon, and caddies not allowed. But man, there is some really overpowering, parents in terms of like, oh, your kid's not set up like, perfect aim to the nearest inch. Like they back them off and restart or coach them or tweaking their ball position. And I kind of have a little bit more of the approach out there to let them make mistakes. And, only if things start going really sideways, I gotta get in there and nudge. For example, a tournament last weekend, the simple thing, but the parents are talking to the parents about what score the kid's at. And I'm like, hey, they'll be like, what did he have back there, a 5? And I turned to my 8-year-old, I'm like, you answer. I'm like,
yeah.
I try to get just, if I'm caddying, just let my kid kind of do their own thing, have some autonomy out there, the score, figure out what's going on, like who's away, not the dads talking to each other, the dad and the mom, like, hey, you figure it out with him who's going first here. You know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit of overpowering at times. Not all the parents, but I definitely see that where, man, like, how would this kid play without their parent there and codependent during this round? So I feel like I'm trying to build my kiddos up to take care of themselves out there with etiquette and pace of play, where you leave the cart, all the little nuance things, scorekeeping and rules and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I see that a lot in baseball too, where there's almost like a parental instinct to protect your kid from failure, where that's the learning. The learning comes
Yep.
from that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I've seen pitchers come off the mound and the parent is like, "Oh, that's okay. That was a bad mound," or "You got a tough break there," and it's like that's not going to help.
Life's going to throw you the bad mounts, man, you know, but
Yeah.
Hayes, it's an interesting question because I have some regrets of not backing my kid off. Like he'll be on a hole, man, water left. I see him aim over there pretty far left. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
sure enough,
Yeah.
he hits it over in the water. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I should have called him off. But then I'm like,
I was
no, maybe that's how he learns. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna ask you about that because I've seen playing rounds with Jackson, like he'll hit a shot onto the green and he's got like a 10-foot putt, and I can see that he is going to hit this putt 35 feet before he's stepped up to it, and I'm like, he's too amped up for it. He's like, and I'll even be like, Jackson, like, take your time, read the putt. And I can just see that it's coming, and I don't have it in me like, Jackson, like, step away, move away. Like, have you had to step in a moment like that and done that for him? Or?
The green reading, especially guys, you've probably seen this, Brian. It's like you get on some greens that are a little slopey, and you know, and the four of us here would be like, oh man, this putt's gonna break like 6 feet, and you gotta, you know, whatever, you gotta pretend like you gotta hit 25% the way there. The kiddos are gonna blow it, like you said, like way by.
Oh yeah.
So I try to get a little hands-on, and what I really try to do is establish good habits and routines, and even on things like green reading. Like, hey, kiddo, hey, Grant, come up here when you got a putt like this with a lot of break, and you're more than 20 feet, go halfway to the hole, and act like you're going to hit it there. And he's like, oh, yeah, what are you seeing? So I always start with, what are you seeing? Where do you think you should start it? Instead of like, hey, see that mark over there, hit it there. I always put it on them. And then they say what they recommend. And if I'm like, you know, that scenario, Brian, where you're like, oh man, he's going to hit it 35 feet back. I'm like, hey, let's take a look at this from the side real quick. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
just try
Okay.
to get them to explore that. Matt, you kind of asked about other putting little routines. I try to get him into really good routines. Like you guys know Cam Smith's routine where he puts his left hand on his thigh, aims the face with his right hand, builds the, you know, have your feet together. I got this from Andrew Rice. Then you build the stance by taking equal steps both sides and then put the left hand on. My kids have that routine. You know, I think it's sweet.
Nice.
Like I adopted it when I was coaching it too. You know what I mean? So
I started doing that 6 months ago. I don't even know if I did it consciously or because I watched some tournament where the announcer, I think it was Brad Faxon, was talking about, I love this setup. He look at his hand on his thigh, and I was like, huh. And then all of a sudden, the next time I played, I realized my hand is on my thigh. Why? But I made more putts that round just from having the same setup every time. So yeah, I'm totally for it.
I'd put my hand on my thigh and be like, man, I need to do more squats.
I do the three amigos thing before every putt, and
Hey, just real quick, Marty, did you say Grant? Is your son's name Grant?
Yes.
The 11-year-old?
Okay,
so my 11-year-old son is Grant, and for a minute, I thought,
really?
like, this is really creepy that Marty knows my son's name. That's right.
So yours is
Honestly,
Grant,
I thought you two had been emailing back and forth, and he just knew. I know how you are, Hayes, so I figured he had your whole life story.
Right, yeah. Marty, would you come on the pod? I was born in 1978.
But those little habits and routines, I think, are really good for the kiddos. You know, like the aiming stuff, ball position, man. Like I got this from Andrew Rice. Start with your feet together. Then, hey, short irons, equal step this way, equal step that way. You know, then you got your driver, little step this way, big step that way. And it's just that you're doing maintenance on their ball position while they're playing golf. You know, so that's good for us grown-ups, man. But you know, try to get the kids into some of those little habits that keeps their setup and their alignment, everything, you know, kind of in check. One thing, Matt, on putting, that I try to do, I got from a sports psychologist, is I try to play a movie of the putt. I always love when Tiger was talking about his putt on number 9 at Augusta when I forget what year he won, but he was way on the back of the green, pins in the front. And he's giving the story about it. And he was like, yeah, my dad always told me to putt to the picture. So he's like talking about the putt. He's like, I'm going to putt you the picture. So what I've done, and the sports psychologist told me, is try to imagine the ball coming out of the hole and play the movie of it rolling backwards. So instead of seeing it go forward, you actually visualize it coming out of the hole and work its way backwards. And I try to have I don't know if my kids actually do this or not, but I try to have them do it. I'm like, pick your favorite color, of your little road you're going to draw, your yellow brick road back to your ball. And I think just maybe the visuals could be good for the kiddos because, the human brain, people think in pictures, and I think that's what Tiger was talking about that putting hit. So I think you kind of just maybe curate an environment for your kids to play a movie or make a picture of the break. Could be helpful. Maybe.
Wow, that's great.
Well, Marty, we've commented on how generous you're being with your time. If I may, I can't let you out of here. We're about to, I think, tomorrow morning they're going to tee off at Oakmont. You've played in a U.S. Open at Wingfoot, correct?
That's
the
right.
one that Bryson won by 6?
That's right.
Okay, so we're seeing the obligatory look how deep this rough is videos at Oakmont. Same thing at Wingfoot. Was it as brutal as the videos make it?
They're saying
Really?
it's 7 inches.
Yeah, no, Wingfoot was brutal. The rough was brutal. It's you drive it in the rough, and the assessment is, do I hit lob wedge, sand wedge, or gap wedge out? Like you know what I mean? Like there's.
Okay.
This is why Bryson won. So I've talked about this quite a bit, and other people I think have the same take. Is that the fairways were so narrow that you may as well not have had a fairway. Like they could have played Wingfoot with no fairway, and then who would win that tournament? If there's no fairway, it's actually all about angles. And I know you guys have had Scott on, like, angles don't matter. Well, not at Wingfoot. If you're in the rough, 70 or 80% of the time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Bryson's fairway hit percentage was, but it's probably like
it was low.
30%.
It was low.
It was very low.
It was about 34%.
Yeah, the field was it was the lowest, I think, fairway hit percentage. I played 2 majors in a row. They were the lowest fairway hit percentage in both. I think it was Wingfoot US Open, at Harding Park.
Well, you've been stacking, so it's right up your alley.
You got hosed.
Yeah, I got hosed, man. But when there's no fairway, it's all about the angle. Wingfoot was all about angles because the greens are kind of tilted. You got bunkers, so you can't carry. You're gonna run it up. Even Bryson out of the row, right? And his advantage came on the long wedges and long drive. He was doing long drive contests and all that at the time, right? So his long wedges helped. That were really upright, so that actually helped him in the rough. You might not want that every other day play, but if you're going to build a bag for, like, I'm going to play out of the 6-inch rough, that's the bag you would kind of build, like super upright.
Oh.
Longer
so shafts. That's right.
So you get more speed.
Plus 4 maybe.
And then bomb it down there. So that tournament was very interesting. It would have been a much better event if the fairways were wider, right? And the scoring probably would have been similar, but it just would have been a much better event. But yeah, I played Oakmont a couple of years ago with the CEO of Arcos, actually, Sal Sayed, hosted us out there for a couple of days. Absolutely fantastic. It's going to be a great U.S. Open for spectating and viewing. A lot of exciting holes, a lot of diversity, really cool to watch. Cool green complexes. I have no idea what the score is going to be. I'll just guess even, but I don't know. Like, so much depends on the setup. Like, you can do so much in the setup.
I'm in 2 pools. I have the winner at +1 and I have the winner at -1. But I have the cut line at 6 over and 10 over in the individual things. Cause I have seen now, I'm a big YouTube golf watcher, and all of the content creators got invited out several weeks ago when the rough was only 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any, like, just hearing them describe how the grass closes on the club. And obviously they're not professionals. I understand that it's not quite apples to apples, but
what I don't know is the fairway widths. Like, the fairway widths is actually maybe a bigger deal because, like, the percentage of time if you hit 2 more fairways per round than Wingfoot, that'll be they'll make a really big difference. You can also run it up on more holes, I feel like, at Oakmont. So, but
It
the
does
rough's
feel
that
like
thick, you can't even get it up there. You know what I mean?
it feels like
So,
everything is baked out, and there's a lot
yeah,
of. I mean,
chasey
honestly,
areas. You know
it's
what
a
I mean?
fun. It looks like a fun
It's
course.
super fun.
If it wasn't,
Super fun.
I would not have fun if the rough was that high. But it does look like a fun course because there's lots of words where you can chase it up, and because it's kind of baked out, you can kind of run a bunch of stuff up. There's some drivable par fours.
Yep.
There's some obviously crazy
drivable
long
par threes. You know?
There's some drivable par threes.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're not sneaky short, they're
if you're not sneaky
drivable.
short.
Yeah.
But it really does. Man. I mean, do you have a okay? So I wanted to ask you just real quick. Do you have of the Ping staffers? Is there somebody where you're like this setup matches their game? I hope you say Victor Hovland because I have him on my fantasy team. But whatever, it's just that's no pressure.
You know who's playing sneaky good, especially in the majors, is Harris English. So Harris is a
great
sleeper pick for me. Harris English, and he's been backdooring his way up there. If he can get in a slightly better start, have a good first couple days, man. Like his game is sneaky good for the majors, dude. His game gets really good, so he's always kind of on that top 15, top 20. I think he had a top 5 a little bit ago, or maybe at the PGA. Backdoored his way in there. So he's one I like. Obviously, Joaquin is playing superb.
Potentially smokes, he's playing well.
On the planet. Victor, you always got to count him in, man. He could be shooting 80 every round and win a major. My
favorite story this year of I almost didn't play the tournament. My swing is all over the place.
Exactly.
And then I won.
Then I won.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Well,
yeah.
He did that to PGA, last year too. Flew right in.
It's insane. Yeah.
Came in second.
So Marty, is that your pick, Harris, or like I'm putting aside contractual relationships? Who's your who's your bet?
I like man. The Finau's been playing good too. I know his putting's been a little fragile here and there, but his results been. I'm like, who are these guys who are kind of just finishing 10th or 15th, which is like only thing that gets you from there to winning is like one lucky run out, some good breaks and some hot putting. So Finau, really good in the rough, really, really good on big golf courses. And
he's so strong
trending.
too.
His game's trending.
Yeah.
So, I'll go with the little sleeper, Tony Finau.
All right.
About that one.
Oh, I like that a lot.
And who you got? You got the T-shirt. Do you also have to take a Ping staffer?
Oh, well, I wasn't going to. I mean,
no,
I'm not gonna say Scotty because that's just too boring.
Easy.
It's too boring and too easy, and I hope he doesn't do it.
Ouch!
I know. Well, I'm gonna go with Spieth. I think he's the kind of guy that might just show up for 4 days and play really well. And he makes some crazy shots out of rough.
He's probably the most fun to watch.
I think he could be really
I don't
fun.
know if he's going to win, but yeah.
You are picking a guy who recovering from wrist surgery to hack it out of the rough.
Yeah, maybe not, but
the other big guys is Turl. Turl.
He is so good in majors too.
And the harder the course, the better he does.
Yeah.
He's also really, really fun to watch.
Super calm. Super calm.
Yeah. Matt, who's your horse?
Honestly, Neiman he's playing unbelievable golf.
Yeah.
I think it's him or Scotty, and I'll just for fun I'll go Neiman because I think it'd be really exciting to see somebody who's been playing so good on another tour come in and win. I think that'd be exciting.
Yeah, I'm going Bryson. I feel like I've seen this movie before.
All right.
So
yeah. I like Bryson's chances. I feel like he could maybe get a little frazzled with some of the bad breaks or the frustrations you're going to get at this course. You know what I mean? Like a lie in the bunker, a putt where you putt off a green, or maybe just frazzle him just slightly. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah. But I think it wouldn't surprise any of us to see Scotty just walk away with it.
The weird thing is,
Yes.
deep down, I want him to win. That doesn't make any sense. He's won 3 out of 4 weeks. It's boring at some point. When do we root against him? I don't know, but I kind of want to see what he can. Like, can he really keep doing it? Because
I would love to see him go to the Open with a career Grand Slam.
That'd be cool.
Being possible.
It'd be pretty cool.
That could be cool.
That'd be cool.
It would be really cool if the winner is over par. I'd be fine if it was Scotty at +2. That'd be
totally
amazing.
agree.
It's been a while since we've seen like a bloodbath tournament. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What was it when Cabrera won there? It was like 5 over, wasn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds right.
That.
I'd have to look, but that sounds right.
Yeah.
Was that at Oakmont?
Yeah, Oakmont.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, we're in for some good
getting
stuff
up.
here.
I'm getting up early tomorrow.
Oh, here you know what we need another side. What do you think the high round total?
Oh, the high
is?
round.
High round?
Yeah.
Well, it's an Open, so there's a lot of people
Starts
that
with a 9.
qualified. I don't think you're wrong, Hayes.
Could it go into triple digits?
No. I don't think anybody's going to do that. I saw a bunch of YouTubers shoot in the high 80s, so I'm pretty sure the high round for the week, I'm going to go 89.
Yeah.
I think somebody's going to have a nightmare, but I don't think they're going to shoot in the 90s.
I think 86 to 88. Like the U.S. Opens, like so Winged Foot, I didn't make a double. I just made like 1,000 bogeys. So it's like death of 1,000 paper cuts.
Sure.
I don't know. Oakmont's kind of similar. It's you can, don't get me wrong, there'll be doubles out there, but I think if you play a bad round, it's more like you make 15 bogeys. It's not like there's not like.
So what's that? 85, right? That'd be because it's par 70.
Lurking. You know what I mean? It's just rough and bunkers. So
it would have to be. It'd have to be all the double hits around the green there.
Yeah,
taking 2 to get on the green or something like that.
2 chip chins or whatever. So I don't think it'll be. I don't think there'll be anyone in the 90s. I think it'll just be 87 or something.
All right.
Marty,
I like it.
Thanks so much. This has been great. I can't believe you've given us this much time. We do have one tradition, though. I try to close off the pod, and then Brian steps in with something irrelevant. So let's tune into now's our favorite part of the show, Brian's extraneous thought. Take it away, Brian.
Marty, thank you so much. I'm going to send my kids to your golf camp that you are now opening.
That's right.
Nice.
Official.
Nice. Yeah, Marty, honestly, though, we didn't even ask about ball fitting. We didn't ask about weather conditions and all that expertise that you have.
Have me back on.
Yeah,
there it is.
Absolutely.
We're going to do
100%.
that. Thanks so much. Right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. This has been great. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Marty.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Marty. Really appreciate you. All
right. That was part 1 with Marty Jertson. What'd you think?
I mean, it was, I mean it, it's hard to stop. There's so many different little nuggets of like, I want to write. I wasn't kidding. I wanted to take notes during the podcast.
Oh, no question.
It was awesome.
I mean it though. I got to go talk to my kids about like, hey, you know what the Jertson kids are doing?
Hey,
time
there's
to
kids
up.
Your age who are already qualified for Worlds.
Right. They're playing 18 holes, not 4, and then wanting a hot dog.
That's right. Yeah. But I really did appreciate though the fact that like he and his wife, their goal is to make it as fun as possible. Yes. And because I mean, I was a little leaguer. I had friends whose dads were coaches, and my dad was never the like taskmaster, and I loved playing. And I had friends that stopped loving playing who were way better than I was. Yeah. They just didn't love the amount of pressure. So I really love that message of trying to keep it fun for as long as possible, because it's already a hard enough game. Don't need the added pressure.
It's funny because, and I've seen that too. Again, I talked about it on the pod. I've seen it in baseball. Like parents are putting so much pressure on their kids. And I'm sorry, but if you want this kid to stick with a particular sporting thing, there's got to be a love for it. And it's not going to be a love affair with the sport if you're making them do it, if you're sucking all the fun out of it with all that pressure. So you would think that's patently obvious, but I've seen time and time again, and Marty kind of spoke to it. It's not that obvious to some folks, apparently. But I mean, Marty dropped some serious knowledge there on how to raise your kid in any sport and keep it fun while doing it, to your point.
I think the important thing to remember is that it's your kid playing is not you. Is not playing. You're not playing. And I think that's
Try
what
not
ends
to
up
live
happening.
vicariously.
It's hard, man. It's hard to not want your kid to not make the same mistakes you did, and then to learn your lessons, and they got to learn their own lessons. So I also love that we ended up talking about the Open. I cannot wait. When you hear this, we'll already be in day 2. But I'm secretly hoping for carnage.
I think we're going to get it. And I think listening to a guy who's played in the Open in those conditions,
I played Winged Foot
who
too.
was very quick to agree, it's going to be brutal. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
and hey,
we will.
Part 2's coming.
We'll see you next time with part 2. And I mean, it just gets better. So hang tight.
Thanks for listening, everybody.